All right, there we go. And now TikTok. You guessed it. Excuse me. Okay, we're live on TikTok too now. I think let's see the quality reading here. No drop frames. Everything's smooth. All right. All right, we've got, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. We've got 23 minutes to get ourselves acquainted with what's going on today before the market opens. One of the more interesting things is that Microsoft is up on earnings, favorable reaction in pre-market earnings. But what's more important is it's up above a pivot point in a downtrend. So that kind of reversal will create a short squeeze of these people here, of the number of the people here who were remaining short that didn't get their stop hit when it came back up and it started coming back down right now. And there's even more that got in just recently. So that should be enough to push us to break new highs today to 370. It should be enough to get us to 365, certainly over to 360. It should be enough just in short squeeze alone, short interest alone, shorts, to get us above 360, 365. Then combine that with people who want to get in because of the new positive sentiment and outlook on it, and all the upgrades to like price targets have been adjusted to 370 and higher. That should just add very nice support to the bottom of all that short covering, and really fill in nicely and get us to 365, 370. Then from there, there's a whole host of breakout traders who who get into all-time highs for new levels of highs, and then they put their stop below prior pivots and risk it that way and hold it for months, if not years. Well, so we've got enough to get to 370 plus today. Now, might not happen if we just sell off right at the open, which would suck, because then the shorts are just going to stay. They're just going to hold. They're just going to stay in and let it just drop, and they're going to inch out of their positions. So there will be some buying to covering on the way down. So there'll be some supportive movement in it as it goes down. Let me make sure I have Microsoft up on this. Yeah, I do. Okay. And but that's going to cause it to have a problem going down as well, because the reaction has spoken, and it's a surprise. It's a bit of a surprise. There really wasn't enough buying built in. And there certainly wasn't enough price level change recently for all the shorts to get out. So Microsoft's going to like minor short squeeze today, like a little bit of short squeeze. You can have a little bit of squeeze assist, if you will, a little bit of squeeze assist. And then so you might want to get into that. We might have a move to like 370 today from 348 we are in pre-market. Any pivot level in pre-market that breaks the highs today could result in squeezing all the way to 370. Well, 360, 365, 370, and then further. But I would watch like the 1 minute open. Just let 60 seconds go by. Just let 60 seconds go by. Unless it's fucking flying and you know what you're doing. Of course, HFT traders only on that. But wait 60 seconds and then see which side the next price action breaks of that 60 seconds, the low or the high. And I'm not so sure that I would take the down. I would take a short. But I think you got the asymmetric risk here, being able to go long if it breaks long, or buy a dip, like a 5-minute dip buy like we do. Maybe in 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 20 minutes after the open or something, it transpires. So either way, that's going to be interesting trade today. Microsoft very low ADR, so it's kind of a slow stock. So if there's a like MSFU or something, if there's a leveraged version of that or options, you might be able to get the kind of return you're looking for as a trader. As an investor, I'd hope you'd already been in Microsoft. There's really nothing to do here except maybe take some profits on improvement in price. It depends on how long your horizon is. All right, and then we're also watching RSLS, and we're watching BTI, which is breaking right now. Just breaking right now. BTAI. This is an AI stock, I guess. BioXcel Therapeutics. BTI is breaking right now. So if you want to get into that, the stop on that would be 320. It's breaking right now, 346. It's perfectly breaking a line right now. And obviously 350, it probably starts to really fly if it can break 350. 320 would be your stop on BTAI. This is for like intraday day trade. It's got a 19 mil float, which has probably been dwindling in pre-market. There it goes. It broke 350 and flew to 357. So that's how fast that goes. I mean, like, new traders don't understand when I'm talking and saying something about something. You've got seconds, and sometimes you've got minutes, but you've got seconds. This is not for people who aren't confident about what they're about to do. So, RJ, did you get in? Here's an example. Okay, let's hear if RJ got in. If RJ got in, then you can do it too. If he didn't get in, nobody got in. Anybody get into BTAI? RJ says he got it. So see, and I don't know how much time he had. How much time did you have to pull that up? Was it when I started talking about it? Or was it beforehand you found it, you've been watching it? Because if it was from when I was talking about it, slightly beforehand. Okay. I mean, you had a minute to get in. And oof! And there's a huge fake out, fake down, and this is why. This is for only day traders only, this stock, BTAI, is already at 329, halfway to your stop. So that's not super good at all. We talked about Microsoft, manage your trade on BTAI, obviously. We talked about Microsoft, very interesting this morning. Potential small squeeze assist going to happen on Microsoft. We're also watching RSLS, which is a micro float. I mean, 341,000 shares. And it's a 30-cent stock. So I didn't even, like, what do you do with a stock with that low float and it has this high of demand? I mean, it's just, that's probably going to be halting and halting and halting and halting and halting and halting. And it'll be interesting. It'll be a fun ride on RSLS. And there goes breaking down the stop on BTI. That trade not happening. Manipulation. Microsoft's going to be a nice smooth trade, a big cap. If it goes one way or the other, at least you'll have some control over it. It is going to be a 1 minute breakout once the market opens, and or a 5 minute dip buy using our 5 minute dip buy technique. If you'd like to learn more about trading, go to marketmastery.teachable.com. That's marketmastery.teachable.com, where I teach all of our strategies and tricks and tips. And you can learn from the beginning all the way to the end how to learn to trade the markets. All right. That's a marketmastery.teachable.com. Right on. So also this morning, let's take a look at some anything else that's hot. We've got a couple of minutes. We've got 14 minutes before the market opens. Let's see in pre-market on our hot list, what's up? We got VRT. Yeah, VRT gone crazy on earnings. It was at 39 and hit 45 in pre-market, roughly 44.50. This is a 5% plus ADR stock, so this is a great swing tradable stock. I don't love getting in at like a breakout point like this, but this is a significant leap in ER. The last time we had that, if you set your stop to the low of the day and then got in like at the end of the day and just swung it, you'd be here. You wouldn't have gotten stopped out all the way to here, and that would have been at 34, and now here you are sitting at 45 almost. So, but it did take 3 months, but the high ADR makes up for that. So what is that? 44.50 divided by 34, 31% gains in 3 months. That's 10% a month. Not bad for something you're holding, not bad, not bad. Swing trading, not bad. Yeah, that's correct, but put a dot in there. Curious Musings. Put a dot before the word teachable. It's just like that. You did it. You spelled it perfectly. Just put a dot before the word teachable and after the word market mastery. Right on. And then CRDO, Credo, Technology Group Holdings. Okay, a little bit up, but not very much volume. VIST, V-I-S-T, is up a lot, but again, not very much volume. I'm looking for anything that's got volume. This one, GDHG, it's just, it's insane. Look at that. Can anybody see that? Over on my bottom right of this bottom left radar screen, you can see that this candle is vacus, is empty, and that's because it fell under Gamma. That's so cool. And look at these empty ones here. I switched up my Gamma indicator to empty out, to hollow out the candles if it's below Gamma. So it's like, it helps, just gives you a quick little reminder, like, what the fuck? Why is there this strange candle there? And yeah, you can still see the direction. It was red with the outline. It's because it's under Gamma. And anytime price is under Gamma, it's probably not a good idea to be playing around with it. GRTX, NAY, AAOI, so now we're down to like just 3% pops. And so there's nothing really interesting there. And I've already looked through this other list here: LMDX, DB, Arav, Zivsa, Frigate, EGOX. Yeah, so there's really nothing much going on, and that's an indication also of the lack of quality in the market right now. And I haven't looked at Google, and I was curious to see if it had positive or negative reaction to its earnings. Okay, it had a large negative reaction to its earnings. So you have, on the one hand, you got Microsoft having great reaction, and then Google not a great reaction. Google's into AI just as much as Facebook, Meta, and Microsoft. Well, they might not be hitting the consumer as much as Microsoft is, so that's probably where that's at. But I would just say that Google has long-term growth prospect just as much as Microsoft, and certainly just as much as Meta. Maybe Microsoft's tapping into it right now more than anybody else, but don't discount Google's ability to grow as well in the future. Maybe it's not today, but keep an eye on Google, as an investment into AI. In the birth of computers back in Apple, IBM, Microsoft days, Dell, HP, all those computers back then, you would have wanted to look back 20, 40 years later and gone, good Lord, why couldn't I have just put some money, invested into that, and just waited out? I knew it was the next biggest thing and going to change the world. Well, that's the way AI is right now. AI is the next big, huge innovation for human beings. And you can invest in it, in Meta. You can invest in Microsoft. You can invest in Google. If there's other companies, let me know. But remember that, like, for example, back in the time of when cars were invented, there was, I heard there was like 1,000 different companies on the stock market. 1,000. And how many were still standing 40 years later, 20, 40 years later? 3. So you can't just assume you're going to pick a winner with this. So, diversify, definitely get some big caps when you're going AI. And again, this is an educational program. I'm not your financial advisor. So you don't do things because I told you to. You do things on your own will and accord, and that's just fucking obvious. But there's always just some guy out there who's like, I lost all my money because I did what he said. No, you did what you did. I'm saying, as educationally, and that's prefaced on this whole program, is that these are interesting ideas, and these are things that I think about, and here I am to kind of help you think about them as well. So we have 8 minutes until the market opens. You're welcome there. And we have 8 minutes until the market opens. And let's go over what kind of economic data is going to be coming today, because nothing really hit us at 8:30. So I'm checking that right now. Rechecking that. I already talked about it at the beginning of the week, but let's recap. There really was just a 30-year mortgage rate that came out, and it turned out they were expecting it to be 7.7% for the 30-year mortgage rate. It turned out to be 7.9%. So real estate market under even more pressure now, as demand is squelched due to higher rates even than expected this morning. Also at 10 a.m., we're going to get some more home data. 10 a.m., that's home sales data. Home sales. So that's probably going to be dipping if the higher rates are any indication of it. And then, super important, at the end of the market, 30 minutes after the close of the market today, at 4:35, Jerome Powell, Fed chairman, is speaking. And that tends to move the market. So we're going to have a pretty liquid after-hours session. So watch your holdings and hedge before the market closes if you need to, because often hedging is done with options, but you can also do so with, say, SQQQ or whatever anti-correlates to your holdings. You would want to lock them up potentially in case you wake up the next day down 10% or more on your holdings, because your holdings should, if you've allocated properly into good stocks, should be moving more than the market moves itself. They would be called high beta stocks. Tomorrow morning, we'll have GDP growth rate released. Like, holy cow. So you, again, would want to be hedged against that as well. So you just might as well make sure if you're in anything by the end of the day today, you just want to make sure you get hedged up before the market closes. You can't buy options after the market closes. So if you're going to use options to hedge up, that's your last chance to hedge up right before a potential train wreck tomorrow. Noodle soup. I mean, the market's going to go crazy after hours today and pre-market tomorrow. So before the market opens tomorrow morning, you need to be thinking ahead and preparing today. Like I said, in chess, if you really want to win, who wins is the person who thinks the most ahead. Mic drop. I actually have a mic here. Mic drop. But it's a really good one, and I'm not gonna drop it. It's a simulated mic drop. All right. So we have 5 minutes roughly before the market opens, and we are prepared. We're ready to go. Well, actually, we didn't talk about the market itself, where it's positioned and how it might move around based on all that. Let's take a look. Yeah, so we're opening below yesterday's body. Overnight, the market's deflated worldwide, and we are opening lower. And some of that also is due to Google, and then some of it not being so bad is due to Microsoft. Again, we're going to be trading potentially Microsoft this morning. But regarding the market, it's kind of up to those guys. You literally could watch the fight on Google and Microsoft. Let's make sure we pull those up. As a matter of fact, I'll put them up. But Google on the left, in the corner, and in the right corner, Microsoft. and we're going to watch that fight. And literally, I think the market's going to go how that fight goes. Okay, so we'll be watching that. Microsoft, we're expecting to go up on a squeeze assist. There could be some profit taking, though, and it could dip first, and we get a dip buy out of it. Google, really depressed, down, deflated, and we're not sure what to expect from that. Now, back to the market forecast. We have just a few minutes before the market opens. That's what I think. We really have a hard time to know for sure which way this is going to go. I can say that we really have found a lot of bottom here, just beneath here, so on these levels on the market. So if we do have a down day today, wouldn't get too worried about it until fucking GDP tomorrow. So watch out for the GDP numbers tomorrow morning. But I think today is going to be just a fight. It's just going to be chop. It's going to be volatile. It's going to be bloody in the sense that it's going to be up and it's going to be down. It's going to be up. It's going to be down. But if there is some direction that wins, it's going to go that way. I mean, how long can that fight go? We'll watch. It's going to be interesting. Here it goes. It's opening in 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes before the fight begins. Get your popcorn. We have in the left corner, Google, a giant in the industry. And then in the right corner, we have Microsoft, who's been around even longer, a titan in the industry. It's a titan versus a titan. And they have opposite earnings, reactions, and results. Both surprises. Everybody caught with their pants down. Who's going to win? We shall see. I'm excited. How about you? That's interesting to watch. I mean, what else can we do, you know? What else can we do? Microsoft blipping up after a little bit of a sell-off just there. So right before the market opens, somebody wants out. A short wants out, it looks like, right before the market opens. Somebody probably covered and used that little pullback to cover. So I think it's possibly covering. So I think that could be a good example of how sensitive and freaked out the shorts are on Microsoft. I'm not saying there's a high short interest on it, but I'm saying there's some there. And it's going to help assist things and tip all the dominoes over all the way up to 370. That is my belief. And from my experience and my observation. And if I had to set a risk level on the bottom, I mean, it looks like maybe 340, would be where the trapdoor of death opens up. And we're at 345 now, so $5 a risk. We got 1 minute and 20 seconds before the market opens. Let's see what happens here. All right, who's ready? Everybody ready? Or is somebody still fumbling to get all teed up here? Everybody on your tee. Club back. Knees bent. Take aim. Set your sights. Google with a little bit of a bleeding drop right before the open. I mean, these kinds of price depressions can only help make it more valuable. So, you're going to get both sides. It's very difficult to see how this fight's going to go. But I do know that Microsoft is set up to have a squeeze assist at some point today, probably. If Microsoft were to sell off, Google's already selling off. Then that fight becomes not a fight, and we all agree to it's Harry Carey, and the fucking intestines everywhere. And then we got Powell speaking at the close of market, and then GDP in the morning. Oh God, yeah, that would not be good. All right, let's see what's going on here. The market is open. Bing, bing, ding, ding. I got an alert on AMC there. All right, Microsoft. We are now 20 seconds in, and Microsoft is going up and Google's going down. Microsoft is going up and Google's going down. We're 25 seconds in. Pull up AMC since I got an alert on that. Okay, AMC, nothing special going on there. Microsoft staying supported. It's at 345. Google still red. The market down off the open, red. Google still red. Microsoft breaking lows. And the first minute of trading is in. All right. So the high to break, therefore, is like 346. So no entry on Microsoft long until 346. Google is bleeding. Microsoft is bleeding. This market's going to go corrective a little bit here. I do believe Microsoft's going to turn into a buy at a certain point here. So be watching the 5-minute candles. BTAI, I would not really touch with a 10-foot pole. I think it showed its true colors. RJ, how do you feel? Well, we know how these go. This BTAI stock just doesn't have it in the charts. You should have enough experience now, I think, to be able to see it ain't looking good. Even if it were to reclaim, I don't trust it, and nobody else does either. And RSLS fading. The market red. Microsoft and Google going down. Down for the count. And as much red as there is, it's only just a little tiny bit. I mean, we're now below yesterday's low. Yeah, RJ's not interested in it. You're going to hear a lot about this guy, RJ. He's not my, what do you call it? Imaginary friend. He's a real human being, damn it. And he lives in Texas. That makes him even more real in my books. And, no prejudice. But, Texas is bonus points for sure. And Microsoft still bleeding out. All right, we're going to move to the 5-minute dip buy over on Microsoft. Google bleeding out. Google finding a little support. The market just not having any of it. The market just wants out. Cry for mercy. Jay Powell speaking later today. GDP in the morning. It's over. Market wants nothing to do with it. I'm going to go through and cut any of my positions, which are not following through from yesterday. I just don't need it. All right, so I'll start with QB. QB. What are you doing, QB? All right, QB's holding fine. I'm leaving it. Carl asked you a question, RJ. MTRX, looking all right. LFMD. Google still fading. Microsoft finding some support. Google still fading. Microsoft finding some support. LFMD, I'm going to cut that one. See? It's back to my break even. I don't like the way it looks. Too high a volume. Down. Not following through. The market's not assisting. Not helpful. Not going to risk my money on that one. We close out LFMD. CMTL. CMTL opens down, hasn't really moved from there. We'll give it a little time. It didn't really move well from entry. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut CMTL. I don't need another day of problem. I'm out. CMTL cutting. It just didn't go in their direction already. So there's no reason to give it a chance when it already had a chance and didn't make do on it, you see. All right, Reali, still okay. ORN, still okay. MTRX, we just looked at that. I guess it popped back up to the top of the list. Okay, it's moving up off the low. CEIX. Okay, Google finding some support. This looks like somewhat of a supportive flagging on Google. And then Microsoft also coming up a little bit. CEIX doing well. UEC is our uranium play. I think Google just. Oh, I think Google just talked to me. No, never mind, Google. UEC, no, UEC, but this is not the uranium one we looked at. UEC, I see. I typed EUC. UEC doing great. We're up 5% on UEC. AMC today also moving up. It is breaking out of that trendline resistance pullback, and I think, like I said, today might not be the day that it starts taking off, but we definitely got a good price on it the other day when we got into AMC in this space. If it fails out, it fails out. From here, this could be the absolute beginning of the picking up of momentum. The best price you could get that's confirmed. So you couldn't do much better on an entry on AMC than the other day when we got in. All right, Microsoft, what are you doing? Microsoft also finding a little bit of a bottom. Google the same. It remains to be seen whether or not that's going to end up being just consolidation and a continued downtrend, or a place that it turns around from. It looks like Microsoft has more downside in it, and Google as well, and so the market's probably going to continue to deflate. Oh, I got to look at PDD. That's another one we're in. I'm on the runner on that one. And so I will let that run the 5 moving average. Or I might just, I might let it sit on the Gamma, but no, it looks like the 5 moving average is where you want the runner to sit on that one. The Gamma also helped. So either one of those, we'll see how that goes. PDD, okay, MSTR, it's doing all right this morning. MSTR, kind of an island top reversal, somewhat, but it did open in the wick. And, Bitcoin's pulling back, and MSTR is Bitcoin exposed. So, we might get some pullback on that. If I had to pick which MA I want to run my trades on it based on prior strengths, I would go with the 5. The 5 is perfect. So, same with PDD. So, I'll stay in it. For a little bit here. It's a runner. We've already taken 50% profits. We already took our mega profits on that one, our big chunk out. All right, Microsoft with a big blip up just now, and we could be getting that breakout coming up, but you'd want to put your stop at 342 now, which is great. So that's only $3 of risk at a $4 of risk at a 346 breakout is what we'd be talking about on Microsoft. We could be getting that breakout any second here on Microsoft, $4 of risk. So I'm teeing up. And there, I'm teed up. Now we're looking for a break of 346, which I believe is the high from the open. Let me just double check that number. Is 346.20. So, but 346 is the psychological number, likely. But if you want to wait for 346.20, that'd be, full on the confirmation of that. Carl, you're in Plano, and Randy, I think, is in somewhere out in Dallas. I think closer to Fort Worth, sort of halfway between Fort Worth and Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. That's how I have in my memory. I could be completely wrong on that. Are you in East or West Dallas, RJ? Or South? Are you near, what is that, Six Flags? 346.20. We're looking for on Microsoft. Google still fading, and the market finding some support because of Microsoft's move there. Now, if everybody could get on board with Microsoft, if Microsoft turns around here, then a little bit of that short squeeze assist starts happening. You used to work down in Plano. New job is downtown. All right, way to go, RJ, with that new job. That's too bad. You got to check in, huh? It's a physical job, eh? Well, that's fine. That kind of like, make sure you're doing work and doing good work. Focusing. What did I see? Hedge fund trader was talking about when he used to be with a hedge fund as a new trader. One of their rules was absolutely no devices or distractions. And if you want to trade for us, you sit in your chair and you watch the market, and that is all you do is you look at the charts. And you look at it, there's no social media, there's none of this. You're a trader, you trade. So that was interesting. No cell phones, no social media, no phones, no outside contact, total focus, totally dedicated to trading. You want to work for that hedge fund? That's the way it goes. Can't agree enough. Distractions are like a real thing. It's like a real issue. You got to be careful. All right, we're waiting for the break on Microsoft. Let's take a look at the 5-minute candle. We might already have an entry on Microsoft on a 5-minute candle basis off of a pullback shelf. No, we don't. On the 5-minute candle basis, though, we would only have to wait for 345.80. So if that comes, that's when we can get in. What's the entry on BTI? I wouldn't enter it, sir, because it already faked out. And so it's just super volatile, and the amount of risk you'd have to set would change the size of your position to so small. so you don't get hurt when it comes back down to your large risk stop, such that the money that you could make, it just isn't worth it. It became not worth it. So the stock, just the way it traded this morning, became not worth it, you see. And so you can't make something out of nothing. It's like looking at the ocean and you're a surfer and going, man, I'm going to surf a big wave today, and just the waves aren't there, or it's choppy and windy or something, and it's just not the right conditions. You can't make it happen. You want to swim out there and wipe out? Be my guest. But you're better off going home, throwing that back into the Jeep, driving home, and making yourself a pina colada. How's that sound? That's just the way it goes sometimes, you know, and it could do something, and there could be this great wave, and there might be this one surfer who wiped out 9 out of 10 times on the beach while you're at home drinking a pina colada, and then one time he surfed that wave, and you're like, shit, and it's all over the news, but then later that day he hits the reef and he's in the hospital. Okay, yeah, in the news, or maybe he didn't even go to the hospital. He was too embarrassed, so he went home. In the news, it shows he did it. He surfed the wave. But what you don't know is that he lost it all later, and that 9 times out of 10 he was losing it all. So it doesn't matter if it happens on BTAI. The amount of risk protection you have to put on in order to go out into that environment is too large, and making your position too small to therefore make it worth any while. It's just not worth it. You're better off just learning today, just studying, chilling, you know, getting your skills honed, going after something else. You know? Yeah. And that's a thing. Probably, like I said in my latest post on TikTok, waiting is a superpower. And I'm not talking about waiting for FOMO entry. I'm talking about waiting days for an entry. Not just minutes, but days. And actually, in my example, I was talking about waiting months for an entry. Waiting for conditions to be excellent is the superpower of trading, because everybody can make 200% from the same point, right? But only the person who waited until that moment to start risking their capital actually goes up in their portfolio value. The other person who couldn't wait and who has been losing money over the last 3 months, they get that 200% gain also, but they end up where they started 3 months ago, because now they're break even back to where they were because they've been fucking around for 3 months. So waiting is how you make money. You can't make money. You can win without waiting. You can both win and make 200%, and you can show those gains. Wow, I made 200%. But the person who makes more money is the person who understands how to wait and not bleed off all their capital before the moment of truth arrives. And on that note, let's wait till tomorrow. Watch your hedgings of your positions. Watch all your positions. Nothing's really happening on the market right now. Let's go back into the group. Thank you very much for tuning in this morning. And if you want to learn more about trading, again, that's marketmastery.teachable.com. marketmastery.teachable.com. All right. Peace out, everybody. See you in the group.